Imagine diverting 44.8 billion cubic meters of water annually from a region with abundant water to another drier region. Behold the largest water diversion project in the world constructed by China, the South to North Water Diversion Project. The jaw-dropping project is expected to cost a whopping $62 billion and has already taken 50 years from conception to commencement and is expected to take almost as long to complete. The South to North Water Diversion Project, also known as the South-North Transfer Project, is a multi-decade infrastructure megaproject in China. This project will link China's four main rivers, the Yangtze, Yellow River, Huihe, and Haihe, to channel fresh water from the Yangtze River in southern China to the more arid and industrialized north through three canal systems. The amazing project requires the construction of three diversion routes, stretching south to north across the eastern, central, and western parts of the country. How and when did the project start? Who started it? How much does it cost? Has it been completed? In this video, we will delve into the full details of the largest water diversion project in the world. Northern China has been a center of population, industry, and agriculture for a long time. With the three going at the same speed, the per capita share of the region's limited water resources has consistently been diminishing. This led to the overexploitation of groundwater. The urban and industrial development are often supplied at the expense of agriculture, which causes severe water shortages in rural areas. Also, land subsidence and frequent sandstorms in the region have been linked to the excessive use of groundwater. In 1952, the late chairman Mao Zedong, a Chinese politician, first proposed the idea of a mass engineering project as an answer to China's water problems. He reportedly said, "There's plenty of water in the south, not much water in the north. If at all it's possible, borrowing some water would be good." He intended to ease the growing water shortages in the cities of Beijing and Tianjin and the northern provinces of Hebei, Henan, and Shandong. On the 23rd of August 2022, 50 years later, the mega project was approved by the State Council after extensive research, planning, and discussion. In December, the work began on the eastern route of the project, and construction commenced on the central route a year after. A special limited liability company was created to cover the construction, operation, and maintenance of the main project. Each province was required to set up a water supply company to locally manage the administration and infrastructure elements. The Eastern Route project, also known as the Jiangdu Hydro Project, consists of an upgrade to the Grand Canal and will be used to divert a fraction of the total flow of the Yangtze River to northern China. Water from the Yangtze River will be drawn into the canal in Jiangdu, where a giant 400 cubic meter per second pumping station was built in the 1980s. The water will be pumped by stations along the Grand Canal through a tunnel under the Yellow River and down an aqueduct to reservoirs near Tianjin. Diverted from a major branch of the Yangtze River near Yangzhou City, the water will travel along existing river channels to the Wishan Mountains of Shandong before crossing the Yellow River through a tunnel flowing to Tianjin. The diversion will slightly be over 1,155 kilometers long and involves the construction of 23 pumping stations. This part of the project also includes nearly 9 kilometers of tunnels, from the outlet of Dongpin Lake to the inlet of the Huilin Canal. It also includes a 634-meter-long siphon section with two 9.3-meter diameter horizontal tunnels 70 meters under the Huanghe riverbed. The construction of the Eastern Route began officially on December 27, 2002. And water was expected to reach Tianjin by 2013, but construction delays and water pollution affected the success of the route and was delayed for 4 years. The route was planned to provide water for the provinces of Shandong, Jiangsu, and Hebei, with trial operations to start in mid-2013, but water started arriving in Shandong in 2014. However, as of 2017, fresh water finally reached Tianjin with an estimated volume of 1 billion cubic meters of water per year. This directly benefits as many as 10 million people in the city. The Central Route is also known informally as the Grand Aqueduct, and it runs from Danjiangkou Reservoir on the Han River to Beijing, the capital of China. This project involved raising the height of the Danjiangkou Dam, a concrete gravity dam on the Han River. The dam's crest elevation was increased from 162 meters to 176 meters above the sea level. With this, the water level in the reservoir rose from 157 meters to 170 meters above sea level, which allowed the flow into the water diversion canal to begin downhill, pulled by gravity into the lower elevation of the canals. The canal was constructed to create continuous downhill flow from the Danjiangkou Reservoir to Beijing, leaving out the need for pumping stations. However, the construction of the Central Route, which crossed the North China Plain, came with many challenges. The greatest challenge in the engineering aspect was building 2 tunnels under the Yellow River to carry the canal's flow. Another notable challenge was the resettlement of around 330,000 people who lived near Danjiangkou Reservoir at its former lower elevation and along the route of the project. The Chinese officials in October 2009 started relocating residents from the areas of the Hubei and Henan provinces which would be affected by the project. The construction of the project began in 2004 and was expected to be completed in 2010. However, the diversion eventually got to its destination in Beijing in 2014. The completed route of the Grand Aqueduct is about 1,264 kilometers long and initially provided 9.5 cubic kilometers volume of water annually. But by 2030, the project is slated to increase this transfer to 12 to 13 cubic kilometers per year. Unlike the eastern route and the central route, the western route of the multi-decade project is still in its planning stage, and this particular route happens to be the most challenging out of the routes. The proposed plan for the route involves creating a series of waterways and tunnels that would connect the Yangtze River to the Yellow River through the Qinghai-Tibet Plateau, which is 3,000 meters to 5,000 meters above sea level. The western route has many difficulties attached to it, one of them being the area's topography and climate. Another prominent difficulty is the western route's direction. The direction would require engineers to carve mountains to cross the tricky terrain. According to estimates, the western route is expected to be completed by the year 2050 and is estimated to bring about 17 cubic kilometers of fresh water per year to the northern Chinese provinces. Once the western route is completed, it could serve a combined population of as much as 100 million people along its track. The rivers involved in the project are transboundary, and the diversion could affect India and Bangladesh in South Asia and Myanmar, Laos, Thailand, Cambodia, and Vietnam in Southeast Asia. In 2008, the construction costs of the eastern and central routes were estimated to be 254.6 billion yuan, $37.44 billion. The China government had reserved only 53.87 billion yuan, $7.9 billion for the south to north water transfer project, which is less than a quarter of the total cost. Out of the 53.87 billion yuan, the central government had budgeted 15.2 billion yuan, and special funds in treasury bonds from the central government account for 10.65 billion yuan. Also, the local government is funding 7.99 billion yuan, while loans will contribute 19.81 billion yuan for the project. As of 2008, around 30 billion yuan had been spent on the mega project. The eastern route costs 5.66 billion yuan, with the central routes costing 24.82 billion yuan. However, the construction cost of the project has drastically changed due to hikes in commodity prices and changes in the national and investment structures of the project. The multi-decade project has provoked many environmental concerns and controversies. One of the major concerns is the fact that the project required resettling at least 330,000 people in central China. Some villagers even claimed that officials had forced them to sign the relocation agreements. Also, in the summer of 2013, the fish farmers had concerns regarding the Dongping Lake on the eastern route of the project in Shandong. They reported that the polluted Yangtze River water entering the lake was killing their fish. There are also concerns from scientists that the project will increase water evaporation losses. Although the exact amount of evaporation is not known, it is believed that it may be improved in the future as more water is transferred and the flow rate increases. The project owner is the South to North Water Transfer Project Company, with the pre-project construction work done by Hanjiang Water Resources and Hydropower. The State Development and Planning Commission, the Ministry of Water Resources, the Ministry of Construction, the State Environment Protection Administration, and the China International Engineering Consultant Corporation are in charge of the project management. The infrastructure development plan was provided by GCW Consulting. For the eastern route, Haihe Water Resources Commission and Tianjin Hydroelectric Investigation and Design Institute are responsible for the design, while the construction was done by Hanjiang Water Resources and Hydropower. As for the central route, Changjiang Water Resources Commission did the design, while Danjiangkou Water Resources and Hydroelectric did the building. And finally, for the western route, the Yellow River Conservancy Commission designed it. In addition to the mentioned key players, many of the country's ministries, organizations, and institutes were also involved in the period of 50 years of extensive planning and research to transform Mao's concept into the current scheme of work. As of today, the South to North Water Transfer Project has completed 2 out of the 3 planned routes. This project comes with a huge price tag estimated to be about $62 billion. Aside from the funds for building the project, the government will still need a significant amount of money for the management of the dams, canals, reservoirs, aqueducts, and tunnels. Do you think the high financial cost and environmental costs are worth it? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, and hit the subscribe button.